Tonight, our region's first drive-through corona testing clinics open in Whyalla and Port Augusta. And a local MP slams misinformation about the global pandemic being shared on social media.
With the latest from around the region, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. The first COVID-19 drive-through testing clinics in our region have opened in Port Augusta and Whyalla today. They'll help support emergency departments and doctors' surgeries, easing the strain on health facilities.
Prepping for one of the two new COVID-19 screening clinics in our region.
This is about being prepared and planning for what may be developing. We are meeting the demand, but as I said, we just need to ensure that we are getting ahead and proactive as much as possible.
The Port Augusta Hospital able to host just under a dozen patients if isolation becomes necessary.
It could be 10 people, it could be more. We would just have to obviously assess that. And, we need the community to be on board with this and to keep themselves safe.
They're coming online as the region prepares for an increase in demand.
Since the beginning of March, we've increased a 25% increase over that time, which is quite significant already to date.
The clinic will be open on weekdays from 12 till 3 in Whyalla and 1 to 3 in Port Augusta.
This stage, there are appointments scheduled that we can book people into every 10 minutes over that 2 hours, and we'll reassess it from there.
It's one of a number of new measures to ensure safety of their staff and patients. Nurses will wear protective clothing while taking swabs. Tests will be sent to Adelaide with results expected to be known in 24 to 48 hours. Laura Milovanovic, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Our region's pharmacies say they felt the pressure in the last few weeks as panic buying continues to be a serious issue. The nation's pharmaceutical wholesalers have put new measures in place to make sure regional towns don't miss out.
We're hoping to see stock come through at some point. It will be distributed to country pharmacies in the same manner that it's distributed to city stores. So we're hoping that our patients will have the same access to that as our city counterparts.
Residents are being advised to ensure they have adequate supplies and not to overbuy. The Prime Minister today confirmed schools will remain open. However, they will close in our region for a minimum of 24 hours if someone tests positive to coronavirus. Affected schools will also be subjected to a thorough clean and will only reopen on the advice of health experts. SA Health is reminding students to wash hands regularly, cover a cough or a sneeze with a tissue, and practice social distancing of 1.5 metres. Meanwhile, authorities are urging residents to remain calm and ignore increasing rumours of a nationwide lockdown. Member for Frome Jeff Brock also raising his concerns, slamming the spread of false information.
Fed up and frustrated, this local MP wants to squash the rumour mill. He says residents are bearing the brunt of false information.
There is no intention at this stage about any lockdowns, and the Health Minister has indicated that. So again, rumours are going around that there's a real issue.
Some Port Pirie residents are confused at what information is accurate and who to trust.
We should have more knowledge how to handle it, and I don't think we're getting enough knowledge.
Rather breathing the smelters fumes and breathing people's around Adelaide,
Now urgent calls for these social media scams to be stopped, with health authorities asking locals to head to the government website for details.
The best advice, the straightforward advice, is to go to health.gov.au. It's a very simple address.
Pandemic information is subject to change, but authorities say spreading lies is detrimental to local businesses.
Very damaging, and that creates more uncertainty, creates more tension, more frustration, and then who suffers? The people at the cold front.
I'm not listening to people around towns. I'm waiting for authorities. Watch the news locally, keep up, and should be fine.
The government insists residents will receive up-to-date information as they continue to work through the crisis, assuring locals that no one will be left in the dark. Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Supermarkets have begun opening their doors to the elderly and at-risk customers in a bid to protect them from food hoarding. It comes as reports emerge people from Adelaide are travelling to our region to secure groceries.
As the doors opened early, there were checks to ensure only those eligible could enter. Some shoppers saying the initiative is helping those in need.
People like us that struggle along, it helps us a lot.
However, many wish it hadn't come to this.
I mean, I really appreciate the way the shops are doing things to help everyone out, but I can't understand the greed of people.
The initiative trialled by supermarkets to allow the elderly to get their essentials.
It's a lot better because in the days, a lot of them don't get in early enough to get what they want. When you get here, there's nothing here.
Some coming in to beat the crowds and ensure they can get what they're after.
We've got to get some butter and the toilet paper. Yeah, we've only got enough to last for a week.
Others angry at reports of Adelaide residents buying regional stock no longer available in metro areas.
That's a bit silly, isn't it? Wasting petrol. That means that we're getting cut out of half of our stuff up here. Well, they should stay where they are down that lane.
Shoppers also fed up with people panic buying items.
I think it's sad that people are panic buying because, you know, years ago we didn't even have toilet paper. When I was a little girl, I lived with my grandmother and we had newspaper in squares.
It's pathetic. It's ridiculous because people in our towns who miss out all the time because we have old people in this town and they have nothing.
Laura Milivanovic, 7 Spencer Golf News.
And a reminder, there's a national coronavirus hotline if you need assistance. Please call the toll-free number on 1800 020 080. Advice is also available at the SA Health, New South Wales Health and Federal Health Department websites. Those links can be found on our Facebook page. Still to come tonight, the rest of the day's news, with new aquaculture zones open near Port Lincoln. And we'll take a look at the progress of the Jubilee Oval redevelopment in Broken Hill. Welcome back. An expansion of aquaculture zones across the Lower Eyre Peninsula is set to create an economic boom. The government today announcing it'll open new zones, saying it'll help emerging industries within the region.
New industries, more jobs and an economic boost for the region. That's what's being spruiked by the government as it opens up aquaculture zones across the Eyre Peninsula today.
That will create more certainty for the industry, create jobs that will benefit the local communities on Eyre Peninsula.
More than 6,500 hectares of unallocated water from Tumby Bay to Streaky Bay has been opened up for production.
Currently, we've got just over 4,000 hectares of aquaculture waters. This is more than doubling.
Currently, the region's industry contributes more than $211 million each year. That figure set to skyrocket, according to the government, as businesses expand.
To create economies of scale, that means that not only can they supply more to a domestic market, it opens up export market opportunity that the world is crying out for.
From growing seaweed, oysters, abalone and even tourism, the expansion of the zones is set to benefit industries and lend a helping hand to those emerging. Applications now open for those interested.
We have to have a professional business case put forward so that we do have a sustainable, ongoing aquaculture industry here in South Australia.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Port Pirie police are urging residents to lock up their trailers following a spate of thefts across the mid-north. More than 5 trailers have been reported stolen since January, and police are continuing their investigations into their whereabouts. They say it's disappointing opportunistic thieves continue to target the area. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. Adani solar farm proposal in Whyalla is powering on, despite suffering significant delays. The company submitted an updated application for an electricity generator licence last week. The project promising 150 jobs was first announced back in 2017, with pre-construction approval secured from the state government the following year. The solar farm, located 10 kilometres outside Whyalla, is set to deliver up to 350 megawatts of power each year. Broken Hill's Jubilee Oval upgrade looks set to be completed well before the postponed season starts at the end of May. The project manager giving 7 Spencer Golf News an update on all the new additions to the venue.
With the start of the AFL Broken Hill season pushed back, work crews now have an extra month to finish the Jubilee Oval upgrade.
If you've played football last season and you haven't been on this oval since then, you will certainly get a shock when you walk out.
The local footy season was slated to start just before Anzac Day, the revised May 31st date due to coronavirus concerns, ensuring the project will be well and truly completed before the first ball is thrown up. But the architect says the redevelopment was always going to be completed on time.
Even with the extra work that the AFL has given us, what we're going to do here is finish on time. We were going to finish by the football season. Nothing has changed.
7 Spencer Golf News was given an update today on how the project is progressing. One eye-catching feature are the 4 new light towers standing tall around the oval. The commissioning stage underway. The ground manager's office has a second story. The white picket fence almost encompasses the entire playing surface.
Extra pavers in front of the bleachers, bleachers A. There's rejuvenation of bleachers A, or as most footballers call it, the south bleachers.
A new roof has been added to the canteen to blend with the new change rooms around it, and work has commenced on the new entryway off Silver Street. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us. Broken Hill's Harness Racing Club confirms its plans for the coronavirus pandemic. And a Port Lincoln pensioner completes a major swim for charity. Broken Hill's harness racing season will go ahead, but restrictions on crowd attendance will be put into place. The local racing club facing harsh penalties if it breaches the compliance orders. Patrick Ranke has the details.
Broken Hill harness racing meetings will continue to run here at Memorial Oval, but there'll be no more than 500 attendees on course. The local racing club announcing this week that its Saturday night fixtures will go ahead in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, which is forcing sports across the world to shut down. Harness Racing New South Wales said it was taking a universal approach to all race meetings across the state. Until further notice, local meetings can only be attended by essential persons. They include trainers, drivers, stable hands, officials, contractors and race callers. Canteen workers as well as committee members are also considered essential. Those not permitted to attend the race meetings are horse owners and members of the general public. The Broken Hill Harness Racing Club saying the restrictions will remain in place until further advice is given. A fine of up to $55,000 will be imposed by the New South Wales Government if the 500 attendance limit is breached at any time. For locals still interested in watching the Broken Hill Trots, race replays can be found on YouTube or the Harness Racing New South Wales website.
A Port Lincoln grandfather has dared to take on a marathon swim, all in the name of charity. 75-year-old Terry Russell has proved he's still got it, completing a 2-kilometre swim within the hour.
Making a splash to raise funds for charity, Port Lincoln local Terry Russell taking on the challenge to swim almost 2 kilometres for the Riding for Disabled Association, a cause close to his heart.
I went out there and when I saw the chaps on their horses, the kiddies on their horses, it was just so nice and I could see that they were getting so much out of it.
Having just celebrated his 75th birthday, Terry is showing no sign of slowing down, swimming 1 lap for every year of his life within an hour.
75 laps in the hour, about 40 seconds a lap that will be, and that should just about do me, I think, because otherwise I should be swimming underwater.
A cheer squad supporting Terry with every stroke of every lap, Riding for the Disabled overwhelmed by his support.
It's lovely when we get a phone call with somebody says, I'd like to donate you some money. It just made our program much easier to to run for the community.
Riding for the Disabled provides opportunities for those living with disabilities to enjoy horse riding, but recent events has seen feed prices skyrocket, putting a financial pinch on the charity's pocket.
With the drought and circumstances and the bushfires and everything like that, hay is expensive.
With grit and determination, Terry completed his 75 laps, raising more than $800 for the organisation. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The Clare Library is now home to the Red Gum bookcase, one of South Australia's first pieces of wooden furniture. Donated by a former mayor, an upcoming event will soon unravel the mysteries the piece holds.
History buffs far and wide have travelled to gaze at this Red Gum bookcase, which is now on public display.
All its history has been researched by experts in the field, and my initial hunch has proven to be very correct, and indeed it's a valuable resource.
It was built, they think, in about 1840. One of the very first pieces of furniture that was built out of the local timber, the red gum.
It was donated by this former mayor, who says it's important for locals to have hands-on access to our history.
I'm very excited about it because it opens up a whole section of history that most of our people are not familiar with.
Library staff also celebrating this piece through an upcoming event with historian Justin Gare.
I give a talk on the bookcase. He's done an enormous amount of work. He's written a journal article on this bookcase because it is so special.
It's fascinating in itself as an item, and it's extra fascinating in itself as a story.
Those interested in the bookcase are urged to come and have a look for themselves.
Actually got Justin Gare's article that they can have a look at, and yeah, we can certainly talk to them about the bookcase.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. We check the latest petrol prices, and Alex Sykes will have the latest weather forecast. Hello again. There's been more sporting cancellations around the region as associations react to the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. Wilders Basketball Association abandoned their 2020 winter season. The stadium will also become empty as its doors will close for the remainder of the season to reduce any chances of contamination. They're hoping to start back up again in the August following the Wilders show, which will allow for a longer season. Meanwhile, Port Augusta's Soccer Association has suspended its league for 4 weeks, following guidelines from the Football Federation of Australia. Time now to see how things are shaping up when we head to the Bowser. Here's Patrick Reinke with this week's Fuel Watch.
The recent falls of international crude oil prices has seen petrol prices plummet across our region, marking the 7th straight week of the averages going down. Starting with unleaded, and as you can see, all the regional centres have seen a tumble. Port Lincoln has observed one of the biggest decreases on the board, falling by 8 cents to be out of the 140s and now resting at 136. Whyalla joins them on the same price, and so does Port Pirie, which saw a 5-cent drop. While Port Augusta experienced a 2-cent decline, it's still the most expensive on the board by a long way, service stations selling it for around 147. Kadina has had a big week, plunging from 139 to 131, the cheapest in the Spencer Gulf. Even Broken Hill saw a big change, down to 141. Adelaide is 30 cents cheaper than that, at a bargain price of $1.11. Turning over to diesel now, and everything is green, with all townships seeing big price changes. Port Lincoln and Kadina have gone back into the 130s, falling by 7 and 8 cents. Whyalla is down by 4 to 143. Port Pirie and Port Augusta are hovering at 141. Broken Hill is one of the biggest movers over the past 7 days, the Silver City falling from 152 to 144. Adelaide remains the cheapest on the board, $1.32. Finishing off with a quick look at auto gas, only the 2 green arrows here. Broken Hill down 2 cents to 95. Adelaide still having a good time on 84. Across the Spencer Gulf, there's been no movement to speak of. Port Lincoln 92, Whyalla 93, Port Pirie 94, and Port Augusta and and Kadina are both on 99 cents. Now remember that these prices are the regional averages and they do not reflect any one particular outlet. And if you do find a spot that does sell unleaded, auto gas or diesel for cheaper, be sure to let us know on our Facebook page.
And time to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Alex Sykes.
Good evening, everyone. It was a hot and sunny day today with temperatures in the mid-30s in most parts. Port Augusta reached 37 degrees, Port Lincoln and Broken Hill both 33, Whyalla 35, Port Pirie 36 and Adelaide was partly cloudy and 33 degrees. Patchy cloud in southern South Australia is generating the odd light shower. Skies in our region, however, are mostly clear thanks to a broad high pressure and dry air mass. On the waters, tomorrow south to southwesterly winds 15 to 20 knots, seas at a metre, and the sun will rise at 7:17 with sunset at 7:28. Temperatures will rise tomorrow, however there's a cool change on the way. Port Augusta set for a top of 39 degrees, Whyalla 38, Port Lincoln will reach 28, Coffin Bay 26, Budna and Cleve both a top of 34, Quorn sunny and 39, Broken Hill, Kadina and Clare all reaching 35, windy and 37 in Port Pirie and Adelaide partly cloudy and 32 degrees. Looking ahead to the next 4 days, cloudy in Port Lincoln into the weekend, 24 Friday, 22 Saturday, 20 Sunday. Cleve partly cloudy, 24 on Friday, 22 Saturday, dropping to 19 by Sunday. And Woodna will reach 27 degrees on Friday, 25 Saturday, partly cloudy and 23 on Sunday. Whyalla partly cloudy and 23 Friday, partly cloudy and 22 Saturday, 21 predicted for Sunday. Port Augusta will reach 25 degrees on Friday and Saturday, 22 Sunday, and in Kadina 25 Friday, 24 Saturday and 22 degrees on Sunday. Some cloud in Port Pirie, a top of 25 Friday, 25 on Saturday, partly cloudy and 24 on Sunday. A bit cooler in Clare with tops of 23 Friday, 22 Saturday, down to 19 degrees by Sunday. And in Broken Hill, it'll be sunny and 29 Friday, 27 Saturday, partly cloudy and 23 on Sunday. And that's all for tonight's weather. John, it's back to you.
Thanks, Alex. And that's the local news this Wednesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, but until then, enjoy your evening. On behalf of the team, it's good night.